Well, here's something you don't see very often. Hi. Welcome back to Astor's Abode. Told you I talk about more stuff than just books. And wouldn't you know it, I got something real special for you here today, pal. Sewing. One of humanity's oldest and most practical of practices, whether it be your humble monk putting together by handcrafting their clerical attire or all the way up to your industrial textile mill. Sewing is an art form that anyone can be up to, and well, I'm a Joe Schmo who don't know jack diddly squat about it. But that ain't stopping me here. As an astute practitioner in all things ambitious, I got together the time to read up on sewing for about a day's worth of experience, and in that time, I got to know this old singer baby real well. You and we're gonna have just the best of times. And I know what you're thinking. Alright, pal. What? I clicked on you because I saw the books, alright? But what is this? What are you doing? Why are you sewing? Well, wouldn't you know it, it's that time of the year again. Halloween, baby. And the best part about Halloween? You get to dress up however you want, whether ugly, beautiful, scary, spooky. You don't even have to look spooky on Halloween. You just gotta dress up, and no one's gonna judge you for it, no matter how you look. Yeah. Why can't every year round be like that? Now, normally for Halloween, I dress up as a ghost, i.e. my father. But for this occasion, I thought I'd try something a little more special. Because wouldn't you know it, at this exact date, October 31st, it happens to be the exact date of Deltarune's anniversary, chapter 1 anyway. And well, it's gonna be 5 years old now, chapter 1. I was 12 years old back then. Good God. Chapter 1. Before you all this nonsense we have, before I remember your snow graves, before this hyperlink block, we had chapter 1. A good old neat adventure from Mr. Fox himself. Remember when everyone used to call it Undertale 2, Chris's Kara? It's a continuation of genocide or something. I don't miss that part of the Deltarune fandom, no. We got a lot more media literate in the time passing, but not so much yet. But, you know, this is Halloween. It's a time that year to be silly. No room for negativity here. We're here to be silly, spooky, and actually spooky isn't even an obligation anymore. Just dress up how you want. And wouldn't you know it, I've always wanted to try out a Ralsei costume. You know, all the way back in 2018 when I saw that chapter drop and I saw the fluffy boy himself, I thought to myself, man, I want to look like that. Ralsei, the scringly dingly, the plongy spongy. I've always wanted to have a costume of him, and you know, I got together all this stuff just exactly for that. I got my singer right here. With my one-day experience of reading up on the manual, I got the singer right here. And yeah, I'm just taking this time to make myself a nice costume for, you know, my own purposes, but also because it's gonna be chapter 1's 5th anniversary now. 5 years since Toby Fox invented pronouns. But to help us in this endeavor, I actually brought a very special guest for this video. A special guest that all of you are familiar with and all of you so desperately want to meet. Shipping all the way from Tucson, Arizona, United States, from fangamer.com, the official Ralsei plush himself. Ain't you just the cutest little thing? You are gonna be my guide for today, pal. Just like your role in Deltarune, hey? Thematic appropriateness, am I right? Is there anything you'd love to say to all the lovely, lovely ladies, gentlemen, and our other distinguished audience members for today? Couldn't have said it better myself, pal. Couldn't have said it better myself. You, my friend, are receiving top shelf privileges. You get to watch and stare into the audience members' souls for the rest of the video while you watch me fumble around for maybe an hour straight or half an hour straight, depending on how well this goes. Now, despite what the title says, I actually prepared a little because, you know, as entertaining as it is watching Joe Schmo like me fumble around and stumble for hours on end, you know, I don't have the energy to sit around here and do that for hours on end. Come on. First things first, we gotta spool the thread. Now, that's just a fancy way of saying we gotta roll the thread up into a little saying here. Here I got my black thread on my singer here. It's actually the easiest part of the whole ordeal, and it's only gonna get more tough from here. But hey, 1 day of experience, am I right? This little tiny piece right here is gonna be our spooling, actually. And you know, full disclaimer, I'm just gonna call these things whatever I feel like it. So if there are actually any experienced tailors and seamstresses and people experienced in sewing in general, I'd like to apologize in advance. All right, I know your knowledge is superior to mine in this subject, and you're gonna want to call me out down below when I call something the wrong thing. But pal, who are you fooling here? I'm the guy with the big smile on my hands. All right, who do you think the lovely audience members are gonna listen to? The expert or the one with the biggest and loudest Joe Schmo voice around? We do not live in a meritocracy. All right, spooling the fabrics. The thread. Sorry, I'm high on caffeine already. All right, it's actually relatively simple, this process, which was really surprising when I got into this, because the most sewing experience I had prior to this was just hand sewing for class and stuff. It wasn't a whole lot though. Most I ever did was a bunch of different stitches, manually of course. We didn't use machines in that class. Let's spool this now. Alright, it should be enough. Got your black threads here. Perfectly spooled. It's a neat little thing. It said it needs to be cut off a bit. Yep. Cooperate with me now. Okay, alright. We're gonna pull out the scissors, alright? Don't be intimidated by the toolbox. This is where I keep everything. Alright, that's half of step 1. Now we gotta insert this here. Oh, and since I'm not an idiot, I'm actually gonna turn this thing off before I open up the place where I put my fingers near the needles, because you know, safety first and all. You know, I love all my digits equally. It's the whole finger family, and I wouldn't enjoy losing him. Actually, I can't see the thread from here. I need to turn on the light for a moment. I never really imagined myself doing stuff like this, but I kind of enjoy it, you know? I really do. It's something. It's something to do. Something physical, tangible. It's artisan. It's a craft. Oh, crap. And I think that's what's missing a lot these days. The physical crafts in people, because, well, I'm not saying that computers are inferior to this, no. In fact, computers are superior in many ways, but what I'm talking about is the physical crafting that people undergo. Things like pottery, things like sewing, things like, you know, the artisan crafts, like gardening per se. There's just something about actually getting your hands dirty and making a physical, tangible object you can hold, you can sell, you can wear. It just can't be replicated in that digital stuff. Alright, so that's the black spool prepared, and I know what you're thinking. Black threads, doesn't Ralsei wear green robe? Well, yeah, but what I wanted to do for his first step is, you know how the front facing sprite, he's got this heart on his robe. Alright, ain't that just cute? He's got his heart on this robe, and I'd like to attach that first. We're gonna attach this thing onto, well, we're gonna sew it on directly. The advantage of doing this first is that I have a basis for what my front piece is, because I'll be, you know, there's 2 pieces of this green robe thing, and I'll be needing to tell apart which one's front, back, which one's interior, exterior, so this gives a little guide for us. Excuse me a little. Come on now, come on. Alright, listen pal, I know we've only known each other for a day, but cooperate with me, alright? I promise, one of these days, alright, I'm gonna use you properly, and we're gonna make a nice fine suit together. But until that day comes, alright, you're gonna have to sit through my bull honkery for just a moment. Is this a little big? No, it's just right. Does it go before or out? It goes by the sleeves, actually. Oh, by the way, pal, you're doing an excellent work as a guide. Keep it up, all right? Don't let the people tossing away your manual get to you. Don't let them psych you out. You're doing great, pal, all right? Keep it up. We need all that positivity in Deltarune. We need all that positivity, not only in Deltarune, all right? We need that positivity, that that saccharine, sweet tooth, rotting goodiness, sappiness, positivity in all our lives, because the world's a miserable, miserable place. And you know, it's easier to see the bad stuff than it is to see the good stuff in the world. But don't you ever forget, there's an equal amount of good stuff and bad stuff in the world. It's just that the bad stuff gets a lot more attention than the good stuff. For some reason, because that's how the human brain decided it wanted to work. Alright, is this centered? I'm just not, what, you know, there's this wonderful thing called a ruler, yeah. I forgot about that. Sincerely forgot about that. There's this wonderful thing humans invented called rulers. And they do a good job of making sure things are centered, you know? Alright, I am not settling for close enough. I am settling for centered, absolute center. It's a little uncentered. That's very uncentered. Hang on. I mean, this heart pattern is not exactly perfectly cut either because, well, I'm a caffeine addict and I ain't exactly having the steadiest hands in the world, but I do what I can. You know, I'm the kind of guy who likes to pay attention to the itty-bitty details despite no one ever noticing them because I'm a writer. I kind of have to pay attention to the itty-bitty details. And I guess that bleeds on to other endeavors, no matter how perfectionist it might get. That's, you know, that's a bit of a curse we writers sometimes have, the perfectionist setting, where you end up rewriting the same thing over and over again till it really matches what you want it to say. That's the thing about writing. There's more ways to do it incorrectly than correctly, but there isn't an objective. I don't really think there's an objective correct way to do writing. Well, literary fiction writing anyway. There's obviously standards and practices for, let's say, academic and professional writing, but, you know, in terms of if you just want to write a story, go for it. I mean, there are things that make a story good, of course, like plot structure, characterization, atmosphere, tension, how you develop your plot. There's all that stuff, right? But that's what people mostly universally agree upon when it comes to what makes a story good. You can make a good story that's good for you and for you alone. And if you're happy with your story, sometimes that's enough, pal. Because who are you doing this for anyway, eh? That's always a question that you gotta ask yourself in every endeavor. Who are you doing this for? If you're doing it for yourself, I mean, if you get happy with your work, then that's a reward in and of itself. Well, it's not uncentered, that's for sure, but is it where we need it to be? That's another good question. It's good enough. Story of my life. Good enough. Alright, now that that's been done with, we can now attach this thing. The exciting part you've all folks probably been waiting for, the sewing part. But don't get your hopes up yet. We're not going to be putting the pedal to the metal yet. We're actually going to, you know, manually hand crank the needle through the thing. And I know what you're wondering. Aster, why'd you go through the trouble of getting this pretty darn heckin' good sewing machine if you're just going to manually hand crank it like a moron? Well, you see, you're going to see later on why I would like to hand crank this first instead of, you know, using the pedal. Because, yeah, this thing's violent. This thing's real violent. And I don't want to rattle the darn house yet. You know, some people are asleep, you know. I have respect for the people around here. I also have respect for myself and my fingers. Don't want to lose them yet, or ever. For this one, I'm just gonna use a basic straight stitch because I know there's a bunch of fancy knobs on here for all sorts of stitches, but I'm gonna go with good old-fashioned straight stitch. There should be a thread on the top and a thread on the bottom. I'm not seeing the bottom thread. There might. Okay, there it is. And so come on, cooperate with me. This is gonna be a little tedious since I'm hand cranking it myself, but I want to pay attention to detail to this heart pattern because you moron, you didn't. I don't know what I'm doing. You read over this. You read over the manual. You read the manual, didn't you? Are you gonna disappoint Ralsei, Fluffy Boy, Lonely Prince, Alright? Okay, listen, alright. I read the manual. I read it. I didn't toss it in the wind, alright? Even back in 2018, I didn't toss it in the wind. That'd be cruel. Why would you do that? He spent real hard on that. Did you see the unused sprites with Ralsei with his macaroni art and detailing exactly how the battle systems and UI interfaces work? Have you seen that unused art? I don't know why it went unused, alright? I would have loved to see that, Ralsei's art of him guiding us and teaching us in this cold, dark world. Yeah, I read the manual. That's for darn sure. I read the manual on my Singer, I read the manual in Deltarune, and I read the manual on how to be sassy. But to be perfectly honest, there's no manual on how being sassy. Life kind of just throws that at you. The sassiest people on Earth, the crankiest people, and the most angry of people on Earth, they're the people whose lives didn't really go in their favor all that much. That's why they're so cranky. That's why Squidward Tentacles is so upset with everything, as a lot of things don't go in his favor. And I kind of feel for him, you know. Poor guy. He just wanna make it through life, has his ambitions in artistry, but he's stuck with his dead-end job at the Krusty Krab, and he has to deal with that bozo every day, that yellow bozo. Don't say that. Don't say that. Hey, I'm Asian, alright? But, okay, I understand. I'm not... No, shut up! Anyway... Everyone needs a hobby, and writing ain't my hobby. It's my, well, I want it to be my livelihood, but to be perfectly fair, if you made writing your only livelihood in life, you're gonna starve. That's not me discouraging you, pal. It just happens, you know. If you read about authors' lives, they have to work side jobs all the time, cause as it turns out, writing ain't exactly the most profitable thing in the world. People just do it because they want to write a good story, and that's, you know, that's enough to fill a person's heart, but it doesn't fill a person's stomach, that's for sure. I'm gonna show you real quick why I was so terrified of this thing. You know how sewing machines are supposed to be, you know, they're rattly, of course, because you're slamming a needle into something at very, very high speeds. But this one seems a little, I don't know, excessive? For the record, I don't think it's supposed to be that fast. When I use this thing, I have to use it in bursts like this. Because if I hold it continuously, it's a deal with the pedal. It's the pedal's the problem. And there was an online solution with it where they turned a screwdriver knob in the interior of the pedal, and I actually tried that. And it slowed down, but only a little. It only slowed down up to this point. This isn't a very good look for my professional YouTube channel. Do you think this is a good look? Because I don't think this is a good look. What's with all this doubt, huh? I gotta set example for all the people watching. Now you listen here, Singer. I'm the only one allowed to be addicted to caffeine here, so you need to chill out. You need to relax, take a breather, have a break, perhaps even chill for a bit. Pipe down is what I'm saying. Pipe down. I'm gonna use the needle, but in short bursts. Do not forget to stamp that down this time. Okay. Alright, let's not chop our fingers this time. 3, 2, 1. I gotta admit, Singer, alright, what you did earlier with the short bursts, I appreciated that one. It was a good, nice, calm effort. What I don't appreciate though, is your threads going all over the place, and, you know, people could go in and blame that on me. But I'm gonna take my anger out on an inanimate object, because I can, right? I'd much sooner blame the things going on around me than my own ineptitude. All the mistakes that happened here, it's not gonna be my fault, it's gonna be your fault, Singer, and you'll be disappointing our fluffy boy up there. Alright, the underside is looking not very bad at all. Do you like that burst? Much more controlled. Alright, Singer, you did a fantastic job with those short bursts, you know? You're really motivated to not disappoint Ralsei, and I appreciate that. I'm a generous person. I'm a considerate person. I'm a fair oppressor. I'm a just oppressor. I'm a balanced oppressor, you know? I berate you for your ineptitudes, you inanimate object that has no will of its own, or capacity for greater learning. I berate you for clearly what is your ineptitudes and not mine, but I reward you for when you serve your purposes well, by giving you the minimum amount of respect you deserve. You inanimate object. Gotta take a look at that underside that I'm so obsessed with. It doesn't look pretty, but people are not gonna see it anyway. Alright, that's the heart done and over. Now time to put together the two sides of this thing, and then we're gonna move on to the sleeves after that. Alright, time to spool some green spreads. So this part is gonna be the front side, obviously. When we put this together, the heart will be non-visible, and we sew it like this. We sew it here, so that when we flip it over, of course, it's gonna be, the seam's not gonna be jutting out outside, because no one wants that. Even though it will probably be covered by the scarf? Can't speak anymore. Even if it will be covered by the scarf, I don't wanna deal with that guilt. I just wanna get it right, you know? And when I really concentrate something, I forget that I'm talking to imaginary people in my head. And I haven't been talking to you since forever. Just keep at it, alright? Keep your eyes on the viewers. They're not going anywhere, that's for sure. You better not go anywhere. We're gonna be using this here, centimeters, because I use the superior measurement system. But you know, fine, imperial system. You can have your fun. You can have your fun. 2 centimeter seam allowance. I'll go with that. Okay, that's enough for that for now. Oh no, there's something going. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Alright? Oh, gosh, that was so well done. I might just give myself a pat on the back. Actually, I will. Remember to reward yourself when you do something well. Yeah, this is where things get significantly more complicated, because I need to put the sleeves on. Alright, I gotta be extra careful with this. I don't want to misalign it now. We're doing better than I expected. We have this, and oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I didn't exactly cut the sleeve part as a, where you attach it as a curve. I probably should have done that. For this part, I'm probably gonna hand crank again, because I really need to pay attention to the sleeve portion here, because there's not a lot of allowance, I'm telling you that much. Actually, this is a relatively straight. I guess we can do this in bursts. Alright. I'm really gonna be upset if this goes sour. It's on spool again! Alright, time to see if this is right. Set it to spool. Alright, went out fairly smoothly. A bit of crudeness to this, and by that I mean there's a lot of crudeness to this. But for this side, it seems relatively okay. After this, the only thing left for this robe is to take care of the cuffs part and the bottom part in terms of adding a seam to it, and then we literally just have to close it, which is a little tough actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, because this thing is big and there's no space here. Then again, I just jury-rigged this setup in half a day, so I guess that's on me. Who knows, maybe if you do it quickly, you won't notice your mistakes. Alright, so by some miracle, the sleeves, well, they're still misaligned. Yeah, they're still misaligned, alright. But they're not so misaligned that it bothers me. Somehow. They're not so misaligned that it's noticeable. They're not so misaligned that it'll affect this in any significant way, so that's a win. But to balance out the karma, and in the spirit of Halloween, you know, Windows decided to give me a real spook and thought it would be really funny to update while I was looking away from my computer, and I had not saved my Audacity project file for my recording. I hadn't saved it. So this thing was updating while I hadn't saved since the last, the last hour and a half. Ain't that just fun? Audacity managed to recover it though. It was ultimately inconsequential, right? But still, I gotta admit, Really giving me that that Halloween spirit spook, huh? The purpose of this, when I inevitably fold this over to seal it, there's a little thing here, there's a little puffy thing here, so it's not feeling all frayed and such. All right, time to do the other side now. Now, all that we need to do is we need to pin down the lengths of the whole thing, and then we're gonna put it together. All right. Wish me luck for this one. Actually, no, don't wish me luck. Tell me to break a leg. So I've been severely emboldened, perhaps too much for my own good, from my past successes in this endeavor, that I only mark the key areas with pins, unlike what I initially wanted, which was to pin down the whole thing, the whole length of the darn thing. So instead of doing that and saving some time in the process, I just pinned down the key areas. So, you know, I'm near the finish line. We're almost done here, and I wanna get there quickly, even if that might sacrifice us some efficacy. But hey, I went into this with nothing more than a single day's worth of manual reading, and look at how far I've gotten with my guts and my wits alone, huh? An old singer baby here, doing a nice job of keeping everything straight. You've done such a great job calming yourself down, you know. I'm really starting to think we can be effective business partners in the future. I'll keep you in mind. I remembered to unspool the tool. Looking like a real professional here. What is this grip? This grip is gonna get us in trouble. Don't mind that. Set it to spool, and that's that. Now, I'm not gonna go outside, alright? I'm not gonna check it outside. I'm gonna invert it right here, because right now it's inside out. It's because you need to do that to, you know, get the seams in order. Of course, we got a lot of loose threads here. We'll just do some refining for that in the up and up meantime, but what's important right now is our blind reaction to this. So here it is in all its glory, still uninverted. Alright, moment of truth, ladies, gents, and our distinguished audience members beyond and in between. Let's see how this goes. I hope I haven't disappointed you, my friend. Would you look at that? Hey! Not too shabby, not too shabby. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't worn it yet, actually. We'll do that right now. Alright, I gotta say, the heart's a little big. And I'm not seeing it right now on video too clearly, but I think it's a little misaligned, to be honest. The sleeves, you know, the sleeves are actually perfect. Not this area. This area is a little crude because of there was some excess here, as you can see. But you know, I'm not too worker up. I'm not gonna work myself too up on that. But in terms of the sleeves are my favorite part of this because I can do this and be all menacing. But in terms of the fit, it ain't bad. It ain't bad one bit. Hang on, let me get something real quick to complete the look. Now here I have one single yard of this ain't a scarf. It's 1 yard of fabric that's of Ralsei's scarf color. It's called fuchsia, which is just about one of the neatest names for a color I've ever heard of. let's see how this fits on me. Yeah, this scarf. You know what? This is pretty neat. This is pretty neat, not gonna lie. Not too shabby for a Joe Schmuck who got into Grandma's cookie jar, huh? Not too bad. Hey, you did real good, singer. You did real good keeping your self-control like that. One of these days, we're gonna make a proper garment together, but you know, this ain't a bad start. And you, my friend, I'm your dead ringer, pal. We got the glasses and everything. The only thing missing left is the hat. And you know, what good is a wizard without his hat? But I ought to say, so far, you know, I went into this thinking that I wouldn't be too good at it. And wouldn't you know it, I ain't too good at it. But you know, this'll do nicely. This'll do nicely for all you Halloweenies out there. Like I said, what good's a wizard without his hat? I'm gonna get up to that now. Alright, so I decided to just finish up the rest of the hat off camera. It was giving me more trouble than it was worth trying to talk around and while doing this thing, and this thing is incredibly uncomfortable. It still ain't quite, you know, perfect, but hey, here it is. And looking pretty spiffy. Not bad for someone who doesn't know what they're doing, eh? I'm your dead ringer, pal. Like father, like son. So, I have to say, after all this, you know, just let me be sappy for a moment here. This is really something special, I gotta say. This is really something special. I mean, I got into Deltarune around the time, you know, I was phasing out of my Undertale phase, and I guess you never really get out of that, because Toby Fox decided to hit us all Undertale fans with that curveball around October 31st with Survey Program. Remember when it was called Survey Program? Dr. W.D. Gaster was tweeting us from beyond the void, and he gave us, on that day, one of the bestest things to ever happen in gaming. And, you know, I hope when I look back on all this, when all this is over, all the chapters done and gone, the whole story is complete, I'm really hoping I can look back on all this and see how great it really was, because you know, this fills a special place in my heart, honestly. And I'm not just talking about all the fluff here, no, I'm talking about the story, because Deltarune's story is just so incredibly unique for a video game, you know, and it's something special. So when I look back on all this, I'm gonna be inconsolable, I'm telling you. I'm gonna be weeping up a storm. Crying all over. Cry me a river. But I'm gonna love it. No matter what happens, I'm gonna love it, alright? Because, yeah, like I said, it fills a special place in my heart. So, enough of that sap, and I guess I'll enjoy myself some candy. Halloween, after all. Can't have Halloween without candy. There's something in my candy. What the hell? Oh my god, someone put a gun in my candy. And it's loaded. Well, always check your candy, kids. I almost ate a whole ass firearm. Trick-or-treating, am I right? Anyway, that's all for today. And to you fellow Deltarune fans out there, don't forget, alright? And to everyone else, as always, ad astra per aspera. Goodbye.